Hello and welcome. This is Upasana, and in today's segment we will discuss about the poetic style of Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu is well known as the Nightingale of India. Mahatma Gandhi named her so in appreciation of her brilliant poetry. Sarojini Naidu started writing at the tender age of 12 years. Her first collection of poems named The Golden Threshold was published in the year 1905. Her other collections of poems involve The Bird of Time, The Feather of the Dawn, The Broken Wing, The Sceptred Flute, among others. Her poems are lyrical, they have a rhyming pattern, and this makes them singable. Naidu's poems are inspired from the surroundings and therefore they are quite relatable. Sarojini in her poems displays the essence of India. She writes about the common people like the vendors and sellers. Her poems like In the Bazaar of Hyderabad, Bengal Sellers bring us closer to the life of these people. In addition to this, her poems give space to many other working classes. In her work piece The Coromandel Fishers, she talks about the fishermen, while in The Indian Weavers, she writes about the weaver clan of India. Not only this, Naidu also pens down the life and times of the high-class people such as the queens, the kings, the nizams and others. In her poem, The Queen's Rival, she introduces us to Queen Gulnar and King Firoz. Ode to H.H., the Nizam of Hyderabad, is one such writing of Mrs. Naidu where she is applauding for him. Nature is an important theme of Sarojini's poems. Autumn Song, Spring, Hymn to Indra are examples of such poems. These poems explain the natural processes and their impacts on our daily lives. Her nature poems are also full of references of different animals and birds. For example, The Snake Charmer and The Bird Sanctuary. In her book Songs of Nature, she writes about flowers and forests. Love is always in the air when it comes to titles like an Indian love song, Damayanti to Nal in the Hour of Exile, the poet's love song, Humayun to Zobida, and some others. Her love poems involve both mythological as well as historical figures. There is an angle of fantasy in her poems. The sign of this is found in her poems like To My Fairy Fancies, Song of a Dream, and other poems. She talks about the spirits, fairies, dreams, and unusual places in these works. She has also written poems and songs for children. To My Children is a special poem dedicated by her to her 4 children. The Cradle Song is also an example. Sarojini Naidu, through her poetry, makes the readers learn about the Indian dance forms and music. The poem Indian Dancer and The Wandering Singers share information about the dancers, singers and the musicians of India. She speaks of rituals, custom and traditions followed during her time, like the Parda system in the Parda Nashi, the palanquin custom in the palanquin bearers, gypsy rituals in the Indian gypsy, and in several other works of her. Sarojini Naidu was born in south of India and hence she vividly describes Hyderabad in the poems Nightfall in the City of Hyderabad, in the Bazaars of Hyderabad, and Golconda in the Royal Tombs of Golconda. Some of her poems have a patriotic tone while others are spiritual. The Gift of India, To India, Awake belong to the former category, while The Soul's Prayer to a Buddha seated on a lotus belong to the latter. She sometimes also uses the imagery of Radha Krishna in her poems. The words chosen by her are full of variety. She uses alliteration, metaphor, simile, symbolism, imagery, and other kind of figures of speech in her poems. Her works are short as well as lengthy. The poetic style of Sarojini Naidu is a balance of all the elements used by her. So this was about it. Share, comment and subscribe. This is Upasana signing off.